My sister panicked after I got a 1 on my SATs. When the SAT scores came out, I got a 1. And that was only because I absent-mindedly wrote solve on the math section. My mom freaked out, my sister freaked out, but I just smiled. In my last life, my sister used a life-swapping system to switch our scores. She had the Ivy Leagues fighting over her, while I, the top student in our grade, not only ended up with a score only good enough for a trade school, but was also expelled by my high school. My sister even came to comfort me. Don't worry, sis. Factories are desperate for workers. A job on the assembly line is a sweet gig now. This time around, I slept through the entire SAT. She wants to swap? Fine. Let's make it a swap she'll never forget. Congratulations on binding with the life-swapping system. Please select your target. My sister Megan. What do you wish to swap with her? Her SAT score. Standing outside the door, I wasn't surprised to hear my name. Inside, my dear sister Mia was ecstatic that she could use the system to swap SAT scores with me. After all, I had been the top student in every exam for all 3 years of high school, the undisputed academic superstar. In the citywide practice exams my senior year, I scored over 700 multiple times, and I was the only one who could solve all the long-form problems in math and science. My classmates were no longer my competition. My goal was to get into the best programs at Harvard or Yale. My sister Mia, on the other hand, just wasn't cut out for school. Sometimes her scores from all 7 subjects combined were lower than my score in a single subject. My mom was worried about her grades and asked me to tutor her. I used to spend huge amounts of my own study time tutoring her, creating workbooks for her mistakes, and motivating her with snacks and cute dresses, but nothing worked. She couldn't handle the grind of studying. After a few minutes, she'd whine about being tired and beg me to let her off the hook. She would always ask me, Megan, isn't there an easier way? A way for me to get a score as good as yours without having to study. At the time, I laughed at her for daydreaming. I never expected a system to fall from the sky and actually grant her wish. In my past life, my sister bound to the life-swapping system and stole my SAT score. Her new score of 723 made her the top scorer in the city. She not only received cash awards from the school and the city and was featured on the local news, but she also had admissions officers from the Ivy Leagues fighting to recruit her. I, on the other hand, was left with her score of 213, a score that was actually a personal best for her, but for me, it was the end of the world. I scoured the admissions catalogs, but the only places that would take me were vocational schools in the far suburbs. My own high school, which had always been so proud of me, was so ashamed of my low score that they kicked me out and removed my records. My mom was too embarrassed to mention me to friends and family, and treated me coldly at home. Overnight, I went from being the kid every parent wanted to a neighborhood laughingstock. Someone even reported me to the principal, suggesting my 3 years of high grades were all faked. The day the school launched an investigation into my academic record, I jumped from the top of the school building. After I died, the school considered me a disgrace and completely erased my name from its history. My mom also felt I had brought her too much shame and told everyone she only had one daughter, Mia. Reborn, I knew that Mia and that system were behind it all. But the system had its conditions. It asked Mia, for this exchange, what are you willing to sacrifice? I'm willing to sacrifice 10 years of my life. Mia's voice trembled with excitement. Outside the door, I let out a soft laugh. Oh, dear sister, if you're willing to trade 10 years of your life for my score, then I'd better make sure I get a really good one. I was in my room watching videos when someone knocked on my door. Mia peeked her head in, sticking her tongue out playfully. Megan, are you studying? Mom asked me to bring you some fruit. She placed the fruit platter on my desk, only to realize I wasn't looking at a book at all. She started to panic, her voice rising in accusation. Sis, the SATs are in 2 weeks. How can you be watching a reality show? I took off my headphones and shot back, can't I? Mia forced a smile. You can, of course you can, it's all about balance. But sis, you need to stay focused. Don't let this stuff distract you. Her expression was awful. The fruit delivery was just an excuse to spy on me. She was trading 10 years of her life for my SAT score. So of course, she needed to make sure I did well. Just watch for a little while, and then get back to studying, okay? I'm afraid Mom will yell at you if she finds out. I ignored her, and she quietly left. Not long after Mia left, my mom came into my room. She sighed, her tone full of blame. Mia is just worried about you. You're the older sister. Why do you have to be so harsh with her? I was baffled. Harsh? When was I harsh with her? Thinking back, I had only said 2 words to her. Mom quickly waved her hand. Never mind, forget I said anything. She saw the video playing on my tablet and couldn't help but nag. What time is it to be watching this nonsense? Turn it off. Besides, if you have time to watch videos, why can't you spare some time to help Mia study? Aren't her grades important too? When I didn't say anything, my mom reached over and slammed my tablet shut. Why are you being so difficult? I'm talking to you and you're pretending to be deaf. Listen to me. Even though Mia isn't your biological sister, we're still a family. And at the end of the day, our family owes her. You have to help her. Owe her? Have to help her? I never felt that way. Mia was the daughter of my late father's best friend. My dad was driving Mia's parents when they got into a car accident on the highway. All 3 of them died. My mom adopted Mia, always feeling like our family was responsible for what happened to hers. Out of guilt, my mom spoiled her rotten, sometimes treating her even better than me, her own daughter. Mom always said, what happened to Mia is our fault. We have to make it up to her. In my previous life, I was brainwashed by my mom's guilt and also felt I should treat Mia like a real sister. I protected her at school. If anyone said a bad word about her, I was ready to roll up my sleeves and fight. At home, I gave her all the best things. If she liked a new outfit of mine, I'd give it to her without a second thought. I thought doing all this would make her feel the warmth of family. But now I see, it was like the story of the farmer and the snake. Mom, I spend time every day trying to tutor her. She's the one who doesn't want to learn. Who can force her to? My mom's brow furrowed. That's not the point. Even if she doesn't want to learn, if you use the right methods, she'd definitely get into it. She patted me on the back. Stop watching videos and go help your sister. I should have seen it sooner. My mom's favoritism toward Mia had become pathological. The day of the SATs arrived quickly. Early in the morning, Mia came to wake me up, checked all my documents, and even triple-checked that my mechanical pencils were full of lead. My mom saw this and was incredibly moved. Megan, your sister is so good to you. She hasn't even packed her own things yet, but her whole heart is focused on you. Mia looked down blushing. Mom, it's what I should do. My sister is such a great student. She's definitely going to get a high score. Her words moved my mom to the verge of tears, and she hugged and kissed her. Mia, you're so wonderful. You're my pride and joy too. Mia demurred, oh mom, I'm not that great. At least, not as great as Megan. My grades are terrible, not like my sister, who's always number 1. My mom hugged her and stroked her hair. Oh, Megan is just good at school. In every other way, she can't compare to you. You're so kind and thoughtful, a real sweetheart. Sometimes I really feel like you're my real daughter. After being my mom's real daughter for over a decade, it turns out I wasn't as dear to her as a fake one. I just shook my head and smiled, then turned to leave for the testing center. Mia's voice called out from behind me, Megan, you have to do well. Of course I would. For my dear sister's sake. In the exam room, I let out a huge yawn and, under the shocked gazes of everyone else, laid my head on the desk and went to sleep. I'd been up late binge-watching reality shows, and was genuinely exhausted. In my past life, to keep my grades up, I didn't just avoid reality TV. I didn't watch TV at all. At an age when most teens are having fun, I forced myself to become a studying machine. I wanted to make my mom proud, to be the daughter she could boast about. I never thought it would all be for someone else's benefit. This time, I let myself go completely. And I have to say, it felt amazing. Halfway through my nap, the proctor shook me awake. She whispered with a worried look, young lady, this is the SAT. I nodded to show I understood. Seeing I still had no intention of picking up my pencil, she gently reminded me again. You should at least write something besides your name and ID number. I listened to her, sat up, and flipped open the test booklet. It was the math section. I solemnly wrote the word solve at the start of a long-form problem. After that, I felt sleepy again and went back to my nap. I heard the proctor sigh and the surprised gasps of other students in the room. On the day scores were released, Mia was far more nervous than I was. She had been trying to find out how I did ever since the test, even asking my homeroom teacher for my estimated score. After hearing I had estimated a 700, she breathed a huge sigh of relief. But today was the real test. She didn't even bother to check her own score, just sat diagonally behind me, waiting to see mine. I asked her, Mia, how did you do? She said, not bad, I wrote something for every question. I nodded. That's good. The better she did, the higher my score would be. At noon sharp, I entered my registration number. When the score appeared on the computer screen, Mia leaped out of her chair. 1. You only got a 1? I looked at that lonely single point and smiled. So writing solve really does get you a point. Wrong, this is all wrong. How could you possibly get only 1 point? Mia was on the verge of a breakdown, pacing back and forth, clutching her hair, and staring at my score in disbelief. No matter how she looked at it, it was still a solitary number 1. My mom was also stunned, stammering, Megan, is this really your score? I nodded. Yeah, I'm always number 1. I wanted to see what it feels like to be last for a change. Megan, are you insane? Mia couldn't stop herself from screaming at me. This is the SAT. It decides your entire future. You estimated a 700, so what the hell is this 1 point? Her yelling even startled my mom. It was the first time my mom had ever seen the hysterical, unmasked Mia. I raised an eyebrow at her. I never told anyone my estimated score. How did you know? Mia froze, her mouth hanging open. She stammered for a moment, but couldn't get a word out. Just then, my mom suddenly pointed at Mia's face and cried out, Ah, Mia, your face. Your face. Mia immediately covered her face. What's wrong with my face? She sprinted to the bathroom. A moment later, a blood-curdling scream echoed from the bathroom. Ah. At the same time, the score on my computer screen quietly changed. The swap was complete. On the computer screen, my score had changed to 213. Mia burst out of the bathroom. The skin on her face was sagging, brown spots had appeared on her cheeks, and 2 new wrinkles had formed on her neck. She had lost 10 years of her life, instantly aging from 18 to 28. At that moment, Mia's phone buzzed with a notification. My mom glanced at it and gasped. Mia, how did you get a 1-2? Hearing this, Mia snatched the phone away. I corrected my mom, Mom, I didn't get a 1. I got over 200. My mom leaned in to look at the computer, and my 1 had indeed become a 213. She rubbed her eyes in disbelief. What on earth is going on? I shrugged. I don't know. Maybe the system lagged. Ah. Mia suddenly screamed and smashed her phone on the ground. Her eyes were bloodshot, and she looked at me as if she wanted to devour me whole. Megan, you ruined me. You're trying to kill me. I blinked innocently. Mia, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Mia pointed at me, her finger trembling with rage, but she couldn't admit she had swapped the scores. She had to swallow her anger. I will make you pay for this. With that threat, Mia stormed out of the house with her 28-year-old face. Mia. My mom cried out in panic, chasing after her. When she couldn't catch up, my mom turned her anger on me. What did you do to Mia? How did she end up looking like that? She didn't even care that I'd scored in the low 200s. She just urged me, go find your sister. If anything happens to her, I don't want to live anymore. After swapping scores with Mia, I became the school joke. The day I went back to school, teachers sighed and shook their heads at me, while students whispered and laughed behind my back. Megan was always so high and mighty, never paying attention to anyone. Well, look at her now. She tried to show off and failed. Just over 200 points. From first to last place. How can she even call herself an academic superstar? I bet we were all fooled by her. Do you think there was something wrong with her previous grades? Even if you choke on a test, you don't just drop 500 points. Just like in my past life, a storm of rumors rained down on me. But this time, I was fully prepared. The principal sighed repeatedly in front of me, saying they had received numerous complaints from students who believed my 3 years of high grades were fraudulent and that they had to investigate my old exams. I shrugged, unconcerned. Go ahead. The investigation concluded, and there were no issues. On several practice exams, there were final problems that even the teachers couldn't solve, but I had. That couldn't be faked. But this result was even more unbearable for them. The principal slapped his thigh in frustration. Megan, what on earth were you thinking during the SATs? I contacted the proctor from your testing room. She said you didn't even try to answer the questions and just slept through the whole thing. Are you out of your mind? That was the SAT. By throwing away your future like this, no one can help you. As I left the principal's office, I saw my favorite teacher, my homeroom advisor, shaking his head and walking away with a sigh. He didn't even want to speak to me. I guess I had disappointed him too much. When I got home, my mom wouldn't stop blaming me. She wiped her tears and cried, Mia getting a 1 is all your fault. If you had just cared about her a little more, she wouldn't have gotten such a low score. You failing your SATs is divine punishment. It's your karma. You deserve it. Mia had been gone for days out of anger, and my mom blamed me for everything. I took out the college admissions catalog, wanting to discuss applications with her. She slapped it out of my hand. Your sister is missing, and you're here worrying about your applications? Do you have a conscience? I picked up the catalog, my face impassive. Mom, she's not missing. She just posted on social media a minute ago. She's just putting on a brave face so we don't worry. Megan, how can you be so cold? That's your sister. How can you not care about her at all? My mom pointed to the door and gave me an ultimatum. Go find her right now. If you can't find her, don't you bother coming back either. I looked out at the pouring rain, then at Mia's perfectly fine social media post. Okay, I'll go. I walked out into the downpour and, unsurprisingly, got sick. I got so sick that I even missed the college application deadline. My mom, angry that I hadn't brought Mia back, didn't want to take care of me and went out to look for her herself. My best friend, Chloe, came to see me. Seeing me weak with a fever, her eyes filled with tears. What are we going to do, Megan? Now you can't even get into a trade school. Once the application system closes, not even a miracle can open it again. While I was sick and delirious, no one had even reminded me about something as important as applying to college. I managed a weak smile. Who said I was going to a trade school? Why should I have to attend a school based on the garbage score Mia got? Chloe didn't understand. I whispered a few words in her ear, and her eyes instantly lit up. Yes. Yes. That's so much better than a trade school. At the same time, she brought me some explosive news. Mia had become famous. She was an internet celebrity, all because she scored a 1 on the SATs. This year, the media was strictly forbidden from interviewing the top scorers. Reporters were scrambling for stories when they suddenly heard about a student from our school who got a 1. Getting a 0 is common, and getting a high score is common, but precisely scoring a single point is not. They immediately rushed over with their equipment to find Mia. Faced with the cameras, Mia was initially reluctant, but then she suddenly agreed to an interview. When the reporter asked how she managed to get exactly 1 point, Mia looked down and smiled. I didn't expect it either. I guess writing solve really does get you a point. A seemingly clueless high school girl, looking shy and helpless in front of the camera, combined with the gimmick of her 1-point score, became a viral sensation. A clip of this moment was posted on TikTok and immediately blew up. In less than half a day, it had over 10 million views. At first, netizens didn't believe she only scored 1 point and thought it was a publicity stunt. Mia immediately created social media accounts on all major platforms and posted a picture of her score report. The caption read, "No lies, really a 1." Netizens were amused. There really was someone who scored a 1. Mia followed up with a video. Facing the camera, she pouted injuredly. I actually tried really hard. I answered every multiple choice question. I have no idea how I ended up with just 1 point. But hey, this proves that writing solve on a math problem really does get you a point. I recommend everyone write solve at the beginning of every long-form problem. You can earn points that way. Answering the whole test and only getting 1 point She was a true marvel. Soon, all sorts of memes about Mia started popping up. I didn't mean to score A. Perfectly avoiding every correct answer. The last place scorer teaches you how to get points. In just 3 days, Mia gained hundreds of thousands of followers across the internet. She built a persona as a hard-working but clueless, sweet, and innocent high school graduate. Riding the wave of her 1-point SAT score, she gained massive traffic and followers. Combined with her good looks, she was nicknamed the 1-point goddess. After showing me Mia's account, Chloe was worried about me. Megan, Mia doesn't even need to go to college now. With all these followers, she's financially set. I can't believe scoring a 1 turned out to be a good thing. Just then, a new notification popped up. Eastwood Private University offers 1-point goddess admission, free tuition, direct entry. Chloe was exasperated. Are they crazy? Why would Eastwood University invite her for free? I just smiled. They didn't know the truth, but I did. Mia came home, basking in pride and glory. She was now a hotshot influencer on TikTok, and her college plans were set. All she had to do was wait for the acceptance letter. My mom was so happy her eyes crinkled into thin lines, telling everyone she met what a wonderful daughter she had. As for me, I was long forgotten. As the day for acceptance letters to arrive drew near, my mom booked the city's best hotel for Mia's college acceptance party. The guests included not only family and friends but also teachers and classmates from school. Mia had become a school legend. Many younger students even came up to ask for her autograph. Just before lunch, Mia waved me over to the restroom. Megan, put all this stuff away for me. She pointed to the array of makeup products on the counter. Because of the score swap, her face now looked 28 years old. To look young and beautiful, she had to cake on layers of makeup. Seeing me obediently packing her things, Mia sneered, Megan, look at yourself now. It's pathetic. The grades you were so proud of are gone. Your dream of a good college is shattered. And look at this party mom threw for me. She probably spent her entire life savings. You have absolutely nothing. I stopped what I was doing, looked up, and smiled. And you? What do you have left? Mia's face changed. What do you mean? Those hundreds of thousands of followers were also part of a swap, right? I remember you used to hang out with a big influencer. I noticed her follower count has been plummeting these past few days. You swapped for them, didn't you? Mia's face turned pale, and she stopped applying her blush. I continued, and the acceptance letter from Eastwood Private? Where did that come from? I bet that cost you a pretty penny too, right? Mia narrowed her eyes and lowered her voice to ask, how do you know all this? Of course I knew. Because on the very first day I was reborn, I made a lot of preparations. That included planting a small listening device in her room. Her conversations with the system, the things she exchanged, I knew everything. Seeing my silent smile, Mia forced a smirk. Megan, you're so clever. But do you know what I'm going to swap for next? Something that's most important to you. I frowned. What's that? The smile on Mia's lips widened. I'm going to swap for your identity. I'm going to take everything that's yours. The acceptance party officially began. On stage, the MC stood between my mom and Mia, telling a moving story about their mother-daughter bond. My mom said through tears, the proudest thing I've ever done in my life is giving birth to such a wonderful daughter like Mia. It suddenly hit me. Mia was going to swap for my identity as the biological daughter. She wanted to replace me, to become my mother's daughter. On stage, Mia was also crying. Mom, you have always been the mother I love most. They hugged, and the audience erupted in thunderous applause. It was as if everyone had forgotten that my mom's real daughter was me. Hey guys, today I'm live streaming from the super popular 1-Point Goddesses college party. Hit that follow and smash that like button. An influencer was holding her phone, filming Mia. I recognized her. It was the one whose followers Mia had stolen. Because Mia was so popular, the influencer's live stream was flooded with viewers, and her follower count started skyrocketing. I noticed that as the influencer gained followers, Mia's count was steadily dropping. It seemed that what was swapped away could be reclaimed. On stage, Mia suddenly raised the microphone and said, actually, I owe my success today to my sister, Megan. Even though she choked on the SATs and only scored in the low 200s, and didn't even apply to college, She will always be my best sister. Megan, why don't you come up and say a few words? Your most respected teachers and favorite classmates are all here. In the banquet hall, hundreds of eyes turned to me. The live streaming influencer swung her camera in my direction. Mia wanted to humiliate me, but I wouldn't give her the satisfaction. Sis, why don't you tell everyone how you went from a 700 to just over 200? The school invested so many resources in you. And your homeroom teacher neglected his own kid to tutor you. After scoring like this, what do you have to say to them? Oh, and what about our mom? She placed all her hopes on you. Do you think you've done right by her? Mia's 3 questions silenced the entire hall. She smiled sweetly as she pushed me onto the executioner's block, forcing me to face judgment from all sides. The students below looked at me with disgust. My homeroom teacher turned his face away, and even my own mom pursed her lips and wouldn't look at me. I took the microphone from Mia's hand, cleared my throat, and asked, "And what about you, Mia Kong? After living in our house for free for so many years and then backstabbing us, do you think you've done right by us?" The moment I used her real last name, Mia's eyes went wide. What are you talking about? When did I ever backstab you? Stop making things up. I pulled out my phone and started reading. October 1st. So annoyed today. That old woman from the Lin family was nagging me to study again. Study, study, study my ass. I'm not her real kid. Why does she care so much? When will that nagging old woman just shut up? November 9th. The old woman made her daughter tutor me. I pretended I didn't get it, and made her explain one problem for 2 hours. The old woman then blamed her own daughter for being useless. Haha, what a family of idiots. The old woman cried and apologized to me again, saying she was sorry about my parents, and would always treat me like her own daughter. Who'd want a stupid mom like her? It's hilarious. I put down my phone and smiled sweetly. This was all posted on your private social media account. You thought we'd never find out, but there are no secrets that last forever. My mom treated you like her own daughter. She never shortchanged you on food, clothing, or anything else for years. This party was paid for with her retirement savings. Is this how you repay her? My words caused an uproar. The influencer's live stream broadcasted everything. In the chat, countless netizens began to roast Mia. Wait, this girl's character is this awful? How can she be called a goddess? What's there to show off about scoring a 1? Why is someone like this even famous? That family was so good to her, treated her like their own, and she doesn't even know the meaning of gratitude? Two-faced and disgusting. As Mia's follower count plummeted, the influencer's numbers shot back up. Delighted, and wanting to stoke the flames, she shouted out right there on the spot. I can vouch for her. Megan isn't lying. When Mia hung out with us, that's exactly how she talked. You guys treated her like family, but she never even saw you as people. My mom, standing on the stage, looked dazed, as if a flicker of clarity was returning. Mia, what your sister just read, is it all true? Mia panicked. It's fake. She made it all up. Mom, are you going to believe her or me? Seeing my mom hesitate again, I walked over and used her phone to call Mia. Mia's phone screen lit up. The contact name displayed was Old Woman. Then, I used my own phone to call her. The contact name she had for me was Old Woman's bitchy daughter. My mom's body trembled violently. She grabbed onto my arm tightly. Megan, you're my real daughter, right? Coming through. Courier's here with an acceptance letter. The hotel manager ran up from the first floor, his face beaming with joy. He had no idea what had just happened and announced excitedly to us. I saw the courier outside delivering letters and noticed one from Eastwood University, so I called him right over. Mississippi Mia, your acceptance letter is here. Hearing that her acceptance letter had arrived, a bit of color returned to Mia's pale face. Eastwood University was different from regular colleges. Though called a university, its students weren't typical high school graduates but top talents who, for various reasons, had never gone to college. They might not have diplomas, but they had experience and wealth. Gaining access to this network was like having one foot in the door of the upper class. That's why getting into Eastwood was more valuable than getting into a top-tier state school. This was Mia's last lifeline. She snatched the acceptance letter from the courier and flaunted it at me. Megan, What's the point of all this drama? Exposing me does nothing but hurt Mom even more. See this? The outcome between us is already set. In September, I'll be starting at Eastwood University. And you? I shrugged. I'll be starting school in September too. Mia laughed. You can lie to others, but don't lie to yourself. School? I personally saw that your application profile was completely blank. How are you going to school? With an acceptance letter, of course. I looked at Mia like she was an idiot. It should be here in a day or two. The tracking number says it's already nearby. Mia didn't want to believe it, but she was terrified I was telling the truth. She grabbed the courier's bag, dumped all the letters on the floor, and frantically searched through them. The courier got anxious. Hey, whose mail are you looking for? Mia asked him fiercely. Is there anything for Megan? Megan? The courier thought for a moment. Yeah, but it's not on the floor. I have it with me. He chuckled. It was all in English, so I couldn't read it. I put it in my personal pouch to be safe. Mia impatiently snatched the English language envelope from his hand. Though her English wasn't great, she could see there was no university logo on the envelope. It clearly wasn't an acceptance letter. She laughed. Still pretending, Megan? This isn't an acceptance letter at all. Who knows what garbage document you're using to fool everyone? I nodded. You're right. This isn't an acceptance letter. It's my student visa for studying abroad. My acceptance letter was sent to the embassy ages ago. The moment I finished speaking, Mia froze. I took the letter back from her, opened it, and pointed to the official seal. You might not be able to read all the English, but you can surely understand the official Chinese seal from the embassy, right? I was accepted to Oxford with a full scholarship a long time ago. I've just been waiting for the paperwork to be processed. You can consider today's party to be for me too. Mia stood there, stunned, pointing at me, unable to form a coherent thought for a long time. You. Then why did you even take the SATs? I leaned in close and whispered in her ear, silly sister, it's because you wanted to swap scores with me. So, I made a special trip to the testing center, just to get a 1 for you. Mia fainted. She was so angry she passed out. After being taken to the hospital for an examination, the doctors were shocked. Although she was only 18, her body's various functions were at the level of a 40 or 50-year-old. This time, however, my mom didn't pay it any mind. She quickly returned from the hospital to the hotel to continue the acceptance party. Only this time, I was the guest of honor. Megan, how could you keep such a huge thing a secret even from your mom? My mom was laughing and crying at the same time, stroking my hair and squeezing my hand. This time, I could finally see the love for me that had always been in her eyes. Mom, I just wanted to surprise you. A surprise? I'd say it was more like a scare. Though she was complaining, her expression was full of love and relief. It was my fault, Mom was wrong. All these years, I was so focused on making things up to Mia that I neglected your feelings. Megan, can you forgive me? Mia's real last name wasn't Lin, it was Kong. Even though her parents had passed away, she had other relatives who could have been her guardians. But she specifically chose my mom. When my mom went to pay respects to her parents, she cried about being an orphan with no one to care for her. My mom's heart was too soft, so she brought her home. Mom, the car accident wasn't Dad's fault, and it wasn't yours. It was the drunk driver's fault. So please, stop torturing yourself with it. You don't owe Mia Kong anything. Our family doesn't owe her. Hearing this, my mom burst into tears, hugging me and nodding vigorously. The news that I was accepted into Oxford successfully turned my reputation around. The principal came over with a drink, smiling cheerfully. Megan, that wasn't right of you. With one foot already in a world-class university, you still went and took the SATs. You gave all your teachers a heart attack. I just smiled. I'd prepared for so long, it would have been a shame not to go. But I was just too tired during the test and couldn't help but fall asleep. The principal patted my shoulder. Sleep is more important than anything. Come on, let's take a picture. I'll have someone get a congratulatory banner, made right away. We'll hang it at the school entrance this afternoon. My acceptance party was a grand and fulfilling success. But many people couldn't understand why I hadn't mentioned the Oxford acceptance sooner. Only I knew the reason. If I had said anything earlier, Mia would have swapped it away. The fact that I had been reborn was my secret. The next time I saw Mia, her body was already very weak, lying on the white hospital sheets. She looked like a little old woman at first glance. When she saw me, she smiled. "Megan, are you here to gloat?" I picked up an apple and began to peel it slowly. She snorted. "I heard. You started applying to international universities last semester. You hid it for so long, and now that you've revealed it, aren't you afraid I'll just swap with you?" I took a crisp bite of the peeled apple. "You can't swap anymore. I figured out the system's secret long ago. If an exchange fails 3 times, the system disappears, but the price you paid, your lifespan, is collected immediately. I used my 1 point to swap for your 200 plus points. You traded more for less, so that was your first failure. You swapped for the influencer's followers, but she got them back. That was the second failure. I made my mom see the truth, so she never truly accepted you as her real daughter. That was your third exchange failure." Mia shook her head. "It seems you know everything about me, but you got one thing wrong. Trying to swap identities with you, that was the first failure. Not long after I moved into your house, I got the system. But every exchange required a piece of my life, and I was too scared to use it. It was only later that I saw how good your mom was to you. She was good to me too, but I wasn't her real daughter. I thought, if only I could swap with you, I could be her real daughter." I was stunned. Her attempts at swapping had begun years ago, but she had never succeeded. All these years, even though your mom treated me better and better and you worse and worse, she had a line in her heart she would never cross. You would always be her daughter. "Megan, do you know what I envy most about you? It's not that you always got first place. It's that you have a mother who loves you so much. You won." I admit defeat. When I left the hospital, I left a peeled apple behind. In September, I boarded a flight to the UK. At my old high school, a huge photo of me and the principal was posted at the entrance. A banner celebrating my admission to Oxford still hung above the school. The voices that had once questioned and mocked me eventually turned into praise and admiration. And my mom, after raising me all by herself for so many years, finally started living her own life. She signed up for a senior citizens tour group and began traveling across the country with her friends. It was the beginning of a new life. The end.